Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, we have 3A and 3B, and those are both consent items. I guess first I will ask the commissioners if any of you choose to hold any of these items off of consent for discussion. Okay, and then there's some new legislation, so I'm going to go ahead and ask, is there any members of the public who wish to speak on any of these, either of these two matters that are items of consent? No? Okay, then we're ready to move on to item number 4. Is that correct?
You'll need a motion and a second to vote, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Brignano and May.
Just to clarify, this is for both items?
Correct, for both A and B.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 4, this is a quasi-judicial matter. It is SCI Tower LLC's request for an administrative permit use approval to construct a stealth wireless communication tower. Should we go ahead and swear everybody in?
Yes.
Now, anybody who wishes to speak on this matter, please stand and be sworn in at this time.
Would you raise your right hand, please? Excuse me. Do you swear? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
You might also want to just go ahead and, since it is a quasi-judicial matter, just ask if any of the members present have had any contact.
Yeah, that's a good reminder. Thank you. I'm going to ask if any of the members of this commission have had any ex parte communication, or I'm sorry, I didn't have anything. Have had any ex parte communications about this matter, or cannot give a fair and unbiased discussion and vote opinion about this? Anyone? No. Okay.
Thank you, Chairman Zimmerman. John McCoy with the planning staff. And this is an application for a stealth wireless facility. It is an administrative permit use, which is a conditional use in our zoning code. From a process standpoint, the staff reviews this. We review it in conjunction with the wireless facilities regulations and the administrative permit criteria. The Planning and Zoning Commission is also supposed to review and take action on this, and they review it regarding the same regulations, or with respect to the same regulations. And this is not a formal public hearing, and it's not a special notice sent out, but it is a public meeting and obviously open to public comment. The Planning and Zoning Commission is the body of final action on this, so whatever the Planning and Zoning Commission decision is, approval, denial, approval with conditions, is final unless it's appealed within 21 days. As far as background and description, the applicant has demonstrated the technical need for the facility, that the co-location opportunities in search area are not available, and it has been reviewed by the county telecommunications manager. The applicant has evaluated sites within the city of Sebastian on county-owned property and on school district property, and not been successful, not found an approvable location at those areas. The applicant is proposing a 149-foot tall stealth wireless communication tower on residentially designated property, and that would be designed as a flagpole in the context of 80 acres of permanent green space. This is a vicinity map, and there's a lot of information I'd like to point out. I'm going to use the mouse to point it out. This is the subject property, which is the Russell property, which is a little under 40 acres. It is north of 510, and it's east of 90th Avenue. I bolded the city limits line, and this is immediately adjacent to and south of the city limits of Sebastian. The area to the northeast of the subject property is Sebastian Highlands. To the northwest is Sebastian River Landings. Much further west is Vero Lake Estates. This is the Blue Water Bay, which is not complete construction. And the Sebastian River High School is also on the west side of 90th Avenue. What is colored in green is the open space area that the tower would be placed in the context of. A couple of other items to note on this map is The school facilities are highlighted in yellow, so you can see the school facilities around. The other items to note are the orange stars, which are other telecommunication facilities that show up on this particular map. So those are all the ones that are in the area, which are those three that you see. The western one on 512 is actually a water tank facility at Sebastian River Middle School. And that was where there are some wireless facilities. We understand the district is no longer permitting new wireless facilities on their property. With that, I'd like to get to the aerial. The subject property is outlined in orange, and this is a sort of an aerial that shows an overall or larger shot. The facility location is actually in yellow at this location. Again, Sebastian River, Highlands, Blue Water Bay. Once you get to the west of 90th Avenue, there is the beginning of Vera Lake Estates and Sebastian River High School. To the south is County Road 510. And including the applicant's property and south and east of the applicant's property, you can see that it's mainly grove or remnant grove area, and that is an area that's designated residential in the county's comprehensive plan, and we're anticipating at some point that it would develop residentially. Here's a detail of the site, and the tower's located in the northern portion, and this gives you a feel for the zoning around the subject property. To the south is residential RS3. City of Sebastian's owned RS10 to the east and to the north, and planned unit development in the Sebastian River Landings and Blue Water Bay. This is a little bit more detailed area, and it gives you, again, a feeling for the proximity, the location of the subject facility, the Sebastian River tributary in the green space, and the Russell property to the south of that. This is a detail of the compound, and really it's just showing you the position of the compound on the site, which is very close to the north property line. It's accessed by coming up the west property line and then coming into the site. And the compound detail, which is typical of most compounds. It's a buffer on the outside, security fence, the equipment pads for the various carriers that would be coming onto the site, and then the actual flagpole itself. This is what the pole will look like, again, in the overall elevation. This is the top half of the pole, and you can see that it's designed for multiple carriers, and that's one of our conditions, that it be designed for multiple carriers, that it be designed for at least 4 carriers, and that the antenna be concealed within the overall structure itself, so they're not visible from the exterior, and that the base be screened by vegetation. These are photo simulations of the tower as it would appear approximately. And photo simulations are important. They depict how the tower should look from different vantage points around the tower. This one is looking from the south, almost at the south property line of the Russell property, looking generally north to the site through the existing grove. This is looking the opposite direction from Sebastian River Landings to the south, and you can see the tower, the flag at this point. This is from another point in Sebastian River Landings, almost to 90th Avenue, looking to the east, and with the open horizon. Again, the flagpole is very visible. This is from a more developed area of the Sebastian Highlands and a more mature area. And the photo sim indicates the flagpole is not visible, but would be in this area were it visible. And again, because the horizon is so close, it's blocked at this point. This is looking almost due north from 85th Street or 510, and without the groves there, the flagpole will be visible in looking north. And this is looking from over by the high school, looking back to the east. And you can see the top of the flagpole in the photo simulation. To put this in context, the county has approved another 149-foot flagpole facility at the South County Park. And this green area is generally the limits of the South County Park. There's a fire station and some reverse osmosis plant adjacent to it, county water plant adjacent to it. And this depicts the location. What I'm going to do is show you two photos of that facility, one from the east over approximately in this location, and then one from the west over in this location. And this is, again, looking from the east, looking to the west. And you can see the flagpole. And again, it's very visible. This is an actual flag that's there. And then from the parking lot in the South County Park, looking from the west to the east, that's the same facility from the opposite side. The county staff did coordinate with the city of Sebastian during this review, and the review has gone on a while. The city provided the staff with an objection with 2 points. First of all, that the proposal is not consistent with the city's land development regulations, and we acknowledge that it would not be consistent, and that the city apparently does not allow wireless facilities in residential designated areas. The county's regulations do. And secondly, that the proposed flagpole is out of place and is not a camouflage facility, essentially, the way it's proposed. And this is a legitimate concern. It's an appearance issue, and I'd like to really address that in two parts. And there appears to be in reviewing towers, the staff and the code does a progression of items as we go through. And the first one is it needed? The second one, as you work through, is can it be co-located, and then you go on from there. There appears to be the need for it for users in the city, for users on the school campuses, and for users in the county. There does not appear to be a suitable or allowable locations or co-locations in the city or schools, and no suitable co-locations in the county. So once a need is justified, we look at how that structure can be provided. And if it is in a residential area, the county code does require that it be constructed as a stealth facility. The only opportunity for a stealth facility in this area is a flagpole, and we explained in your item that as far as stealth trees or something like that, a tree is limited to a percentage of the height over the existing tree, so that it doesn't get to be anywhere near as far as a functional height for a tower. And this is similar to other flagpoles installations in the county. There's a number that we have done as flagpoles. The one in the South County that I showed you is probably the most similar. The proposal as a flagpole is appropriate in the context of a large green open space with the conditions that staff has recommended. And this is really the best fit for the land development regulations. With that, I would like to get to staff's recommendation. Staff does recommend that the Planning and Zoning Commission grant administrative permit use approval with the conditions listed in the staff report, that they're required to construct for at least 4 providers, that all the antennae are concealed, and that the base is completely screened, the base of the compound, by landscaping. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a representative of the applicant here that would like to speak? Your name, please, and address.
Yes. My name is Lee Chapman. I 3601 Southwest Massey Court in Palm City, Florida, and I am the applicant with SCI Towers. I'm not going to regurgitate a lot of the information that you've been presented and have heard. I do want to kind of back up and give you a little progression of how we got where we are. And that is probably three and a half years ago, we started out in this area. And the very first place we went to was the Indian River County. They say, hey, you know, we read the code, we understand it, we start looking on a broad spectrum and try to bring it down to a narrow. We met with the county. At the time, Mr. Zito and I believe Terry Smith and an engineer and a couple other people were there, and we got the maps out and started going through what does a county own and where can we go and what physically fits. And there was a combination of physical barriers where maybe there was a retention pond and there were some deed restrictions on properties that didn't allow commercial uses, and then pieces that just weren't zoning compliant. From that standpoint, we went out and we started talking with the school board. At that time, I was dealing with Susan Olson and Carter Morrison, and we started out talking about the high school. It branched into a greater discussion. It became a discussion where we were working with a contract with a county-wide wireless agreement to try to promote the county site, the school sites for wireless. There was a change in the leadership of the school board, and at that time, that leadership decided that they no longer wanted to have any wireless applications put on the schools. Then that pushed us into only having private property owners, and we did seek guidance in a general sense from the area district commissioner to say, hey, you know, in this area, where should we focus? And you know, he didn't say go here, but gave us this general direction of where to look, and we ended up on Bob Russell's property due to some properties that were in foreclosure and in different positions of distress or ownership. So it wasn't a willy-nilly, let's just pick this and run with it. We've probably been working with staff for in excess of a year on this site. And you know, from proof of need, you know, we looked at other sites that were brought up, and so I just really wanted to get that on the record as far as our efforts that we've gone and exhausted a lot of time and effort to come up with the site. So with that, I'll back up and answer any questions that anybody might have if I can.
The only question I would have is, what is going to be your standard of care for the flag? And what flag are you going to put up there?
I'm not sure if we have a American flag as it's depicted in our illustrations. I'm not sure what the guidance is going to be from staff as far as what flag they want to see flown, but I would imagine it's an American flag. The American flag will be dealt with the assistance of the property owner, who's not here tonight, so he can't speak up for that. But it will be maintained. I know that at times, you know, as soon as a flag gets tattered, I live in Palm City. I may not see it. If I get a phone call from the zoning officials, it'll be taken care of.
And Bob, we're going to make sure that there's a list of flags he's allowed to use and a list that he's not, correct? Because, I mean, we just don't want this to be carte blanche. He can put anything up there he wants.
Yeah, we have that in our codes.
I just want to make sure that we're
Yeah,
covered.
he can't have banners out there. He can have a flag which is a flag of a nation or a state.
A nation or a state?
Yes.
Any nation?
That actually, you will see that at car dealers.
I'm just asking, that's all.
And others, right? And essentially, we're prohibited from discriminating among flags, but you can differentiate between flags and banners. So a flag represents a nation or some kind of entity like that, and we can't differentiate whether they put up a Canadian flag or an
But we can
American
put a
flag.
standard of care, correct?
Actually, we discussed whether or not that could be a condition. This is administrative permit. There's, actually, I'll refer to Bill. If what we've got is, we know on special exception we can put conditions on. I think we've got a little less discretion to do that with administrative permit. The issue would be like the standard of care for a flag. Does it have to be lighted in the evening? Something like that.
It would be yes. I guess the one question I would have for staff is, what if there would be no flag? If the flag would serve to call further attention to the tower, would you be able to have no flag and simply the monopole structure there?
No, no, because what we're looking at, this is a stealth facility. The purpose of a stealth facility is to make sure that a communications tower doesn't look like a communications tower. And in this case, they are doing a flagpole, and that does require a flag being with it.
Correct. The code requires it to be camouflage, and it's going to
Yes.
essentially mimic a flagpole because it is a flagpole, and our default has been the American flag just as a default. Not that it can be recorded.
And the pole itself is painted in such a color that it's supposed to blend in with the sky, et cetera. Yes.
That is correct.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I could make a comment, Stan Bowling, Planning Director. We have approved 7 other flagpole installations. 6 of them have been built. And I don't believe that we've actually had an administrative permit condition that it be any particular flag or that it follow flag etiquette. But I can tell you that in practice, just what Mr. Chapman was saying occurs. If there's any tatter on a flag or any kind of not proper etiquette, we get a phone call. Our experience has been we call the provider and it gets handled right away. So that's been practiced, but it's not been a formal condition.
Yeah, but my question on that would be is, have you ever had this discussion yet either? In
Well,
a forum about flag etiquette, et cetera, et cetera? Have you had that?
We have, in terms of when it's been brought to our attention that something needs to be done, to follow etiquette, if something's not being followed. Our experience has been when you contact the provider, they get it taken care of.
I'm not against this. I just want to make sure that it's addressed properly.
I'm happy to make it a condition that I'll fly an American flag or a state of Florida flag on the pole. I mean,
But just the maintenance of it is what a lot of people are going to worry about.
And Commissioner Brignano, there is a U.S. flag code
Yes.
that describes how, when, and in what manner the American flag should be flown. That it does not rise to the level of an enforceable ordinance, but there is a code out there. If you Google American flag code or U.S. flag code, you will come up with a citation of it.
Okay. Thank you.
Is the South County Park pole currently flying a flag? Yes. U.S.?
Yes, those were the pictures that John showed at the end of the presentation.
Right, and is the code, the flag code being looked at for that, adhered to that?
I think on that particular facility, we've never observed any violation, or never gotten a call on that. So I don't know that there's ever been any breach of etiquette, so to speak. on that.
Is lighting at night a requirement?
Yes, it is.
Is it lit at night?
I'm not aware if that one is lit at night or if the flag is lowered.
Any other questions?
Only other question is, would you mind that as a condition, that you'd have to file a U.S. flag code on that particular flag?
would the state of Florida flag be acceptable?
I mean, that's fine to me. We can put
Yeah.
any kind of flag there you want. I just want to make sure that, of course, it's just maintained. That's the only thing I worry about.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
And is there anyone here this evening, further from the audience, or anyone else that would like to speak on this matter? No? Okay. Any discussion amongst the commissioners? No? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve with the caveat, if it is a U.S. flag, that it will have to follow the U.S. flag code. So,
Second?
Discussion? I respectfully submit that I think that's probably unnecessary, because truthfully, I think in practical, a flag that's 150 feet up in the air that's not well maintained is definitely going to get the attention of many, 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 many people. And I think there would probably be swift justice for if it became a problem. So I'm not certain that putting that condition on it would necessarily compel them to do a better job of maintaining that than just the neighbors being upset or some veteran driving by and seeing something that he doesn't like and making a phone call.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I guess it's a matter of respect. Men and women fight and die every day for that flag. So if you want to fly it, respect it. And you should follow the flag code. That's just my opinion on it.
I believe there's a writer for the Press Journal that has written an article or two on tattered flags that need to be replaced.
Yes.
So, I mean, like I said, that's just a respect issue for me.
So I'm a little bit confused. Can we make a condition on an administrative permit use?
The applicant is in agreement with it, yes.
And the applicant is in agreement with it.
So, all right, any further discussion on this motion which has been seconded? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5 on the agenda tonight is Commissioners' Matters. Are there any from any of y'all? No. Item number 6 is Planning Matters.
Mr. Chairman, the only thing, just to note that we do have at least one item. We'll probably have a number of items for the October 10th meeting. So we plan on having a meeting on October 10th. And that's all that I have.
Item number 7, Attorneys' Matters.
The only matter that I'd bring up, Mr. Chairman, is the Senate Bill 50 is going to be enacted effective October 1st. The bill basically provides that public input be allowed at any public meeting. The Board of County Commissioners is dealing with this same matter as well as all other committees, both advisory and otherwise. The bill just plainly states that if the public wants to be heard on a certain matter or have some time at the end to be heard by the board in something that's not on the agenda, that the chairman just allow them the opportunity to be heard and act on it or not act on it at the chair's and the board's choosing. So if at the end of a meeting a member of the public would wish to be heard on a matter, even if it's not on the agenda, it would be best and advisable to allow that person to speak.
That would then end up in the minutes?
It would be, yes.
Okay, very good. Is there anything else, or are we are adjourned?